All right, welcome back everyone to Around the Block. We're here again with Guilherme, our platform expert, and with Philip, our expert in cryptocurrency knowledge. So, before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel and turn on your notifications so you'll get notified when we post more content on crypto. So, how is everyone doing today?
Doing well, actually. Things are looking green. The recent CPI print today appears to have a really big impact on the market, as we'll get into in a bit. And it seems like it's sending a lot of messages as far as the macro picture and inflation going forward, especially given that they're taking a break next month. So I'm excited to dive into that and also hear what Guillermo has been doing. I know he's been making money lately.
Yeah, same here. We have some green days, so everything looking better than a few weeks ago. And yeah, so things are very exciting the last days here in Brazil as well. So I'm actually gonna start off our conversation talking about the event that Neologica was participating last week. I'm going to share some pictures that I had in the event. Let me share. Um, the screen, just a second.
How many people do you think were there? I know you were saying it's one of the largest ones possibly in the world.
Yeah, so I heard that we had 3,000
Who's that
people attending the
handsome? Who's
event.
that handsome guy? Is that you? Is that you?
Yeah, I am right there.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah.
That's
So
back of your head.
yeah, it was just like a huge event. They say that it is the biggest investment festival in the world. So it was very, very big. Just to give you guys some background of who was actually there as speakers, we had Serena Williams, which, as we all know, Grand Slam champion, and also she is a businesswoman. We had Lawrence Summers, which is a former United States Secretary of Treasury, Howard Marks from Oaktree Capital Management, and also Theresa May, UK Prime Minister from 2016 to 2019, I think. So yeah, we have some very important guests in the event. As I said before, I heard that we had 3,000 people actually attending the event. Neologica was there with this beautiful stand. Um, so lots of new connections, lots of important topics going on in these conversations. So yeah, it was huge. Like I said, this is me. So they're enjoying the event. We actually have our CEO as well in there. I didn't get a chance to have a picture with him, but he was there. So yeah, it was very, very good. Um, we
That's
had
very cool.
yeah, we had like so many new connections for partnerships, new clients, so like I said, it's the biggest event, I'm pretty sure, in Brazil and probably in the world regarding investments and also crypto. So
Right.
it was
Hmm.
great.
Yeah, I love hearing about some of those people you were speaking with. I mean, Serena Williams, obviously, everyone knows from tennis. One thing that they don't know is that her husband, Alexis Ohanian, is actually Reddit's co founder and part of the management firm 776, which recently had a $500 million capital raise for crypto focused projects. So, I know she's very focused and knowledgeable in the space, given her proximity through her husband. So I know she knows what she's talking about. And then Lawrence Summers, I know has been a long time government official, knows a lot about monetary policy. You see him on all of the big talk shows, and has said that crypto has a chance of becoming digital gold. So hearing that from someone who has played such a major role in the American monetary policy period and such a major figure really says a lot. And the fact that they showed up to speak at an event like that is really cool. I'm definitely feeling some FOMO.
Right? I wish we could have attended as well, but hopefully for the next one, me and Philip will also be there. So wait for us there, Guilherme, and save us a spot at the stand.
Sure, sure, we'll do. Sure. And also, just introducing the next topic as well. Um, we had today our CPI, um, and there was a huge impact on the crypto market. Here I have the 1 minute chart of Ethereum. Bitcoin has the same impact as well. Um, so from this candle, you can see uh, how huge it was. I think we had like, let me check for you guys, 3% high in 1 minute, and then later on we still had some highs like
Yeah.
7%. So
Are you able to bring up the volume at
oh
that time, Guillermo? Because I know it was
yes,
absolutely crazy at that
yes, let me
time.
just here.
And that just shows the strength of these moves. You see, the volume recently has just been so much larger than. I mean, obviously over the weekend, it tends to be thinner. But the last couple of days during business hours, it's been kind of slow, and that's expected leading up to announcements like this. Traders tend to be more cautious because obviously they don't know exactly what the news will be, and when it does happen, there's a sudden move one way or another. So yeah, it's very interesting to see this price action play out, just as we've seen in the former CPI prints that we've discussed for May and June as well. These numbers are for July; they're for the previous month. So even though they're given in August, they're for July. But yeah, it's really interesting to see how this is a pretty consistent indicator as far as where price will move and where volatility will be. There's always volatility around announcements like this.
Yes, for me it was great because as you guys can see here in my vector, I'm gonna talk about this later on, but I did buy some Ethereum Bitcoin a few days ago, so I was pretty happy to see how high the prices went just after the announcement. So yeah, it was great for me. I think a lot of traders as well are very happy because of that. Yeah.
This was a surprising announcement. I mean, I feel like nobody knew what to expect. We can see it going so many ways, and it's nice to see that it cooled down a little bit. And I'm not sure if that's something that's going to last. They're fighting this inflation hard. I've seen some states are even doing a second, or well, who knows what number stimulus check. And I have seen that some states are doing a smaller stimulus check for families with children aged. I think it's between 5 and up for school supplies and all of that, just to help families cover those things. But what are your thoughts on that, Philip?
On the stimulus checks?
I mean, really, what happened with the inflation this past meeting, and what they're doing now, and how everything is progressing after.
So I think that it sends some mixed signals to the market. Obviously, it's cooling down from last month's numbers, 9%, which was an all-time, I believe, a 40-year high for inflation year over year. And this actually even beat economists' projections. Unlike in previous months where they had predicted inflation to increase, they actually projected for it to decrease to about 8.7%. What we got was about 8.5%, so about 20 basis points less than economists even predicted. So it's moving in the right direction, and it actually beat economists' predictions. A lot of that is due to the decrease in fuel prices, which I think a lot of people have seen over the past month. A lot of states have gone down, $1 or more. I know it was $5 at the beginning of June, and in our area, I'm not sure what it is in Brazil, but yeah, I know for the U.S. it was generally high across the board for everyone, but I know that's cooling down. So I know that's actually included in that basket of assets that's counted in the CPI. But even besides that, it's good to see things aren't growing faster than they projected, or at least slowing down a bit. And what this does is it takes a little pressure off of the Federal Reserve to continue to increase these interest rate hikes. They actually projected that the next rate hike was going to be 75 basis points. But after this print, this CPI print at 8.5%, they now think a 50 basis points increase is more likely. So that would obviously allow companies to borrow cash, be able to manage debt better, and then invest in more risk on assets like crypto. So it's definitely a positive, kind of net bullish pump for the moment. We'll see what happens because next month the Federal Reserve has off. So it's kind of, we'll see what happens with inflation and how how these last numbers will actually impact the macro environment. But right now, it seems to have cooled a lot of fears, and I think that's what's most important for the crypto markets. The fear kind of index really governs whether people want to go out on that risk aspect. So yeah, I think it's a short-term good thing, but we'll see what happens going forward, especially in September.
Right. And speaking of inflation and deflation, what we've seen with Ethereum and the merge that, with these inflated transaction fees, they are looking like they're going to be going down. So it's going to be much more efficient, and the transaction cost could go from where they are right now around 0.25 or 0.10. They could go down to 0.05 or even as low as 0.02, which would be so much cheaper, much more affordable, and really a complete game changer. It's Ethereum's imminent transition to the proof-of-stake consensus mechanism will transform its monetary policy, potentially making ETH more scarce than Bitcoin. And we can see that that's already happening with, Ethereum being one of the top performers, outperforming a lot of cryptocurrencies currently. But I know, Philip, you had a few things on this. What is going on with the merge?
Yeah, so actually, those prices unfortunately aren't really going to go down with the merge. The merge is actually just the first of 5 events that is leading up to like kind of the full unloading of Ethereum 2.0 and its like full glory, as you would say. So right now, the merge is planned for September 19th. And as I said, it's the first of 5 planned upgrades for the network, and it may increase transaction speeds by about 10%, reducing block times. So it really wouldn't change too much in terms of cost. Like if the network still gets congested and there's a lot of demand, you'll still see ETH gas skyrocket. That's why a lot of these layer 2 solutions like Polygon, like Arbitrum, like what are some other ones? Optimism. You've been seeing get a lot of traction because of the ability to cheaply transact on Ethereum. However, I have seen that recently gas, has been at an all-time low. So I think transactions on the network, as a result of the price going down, people just really haven't been using it as much. But this basically lays down what this essentially does is move Ethereum from proof of work to proof of stake. So the miners are not going to be needed. It's only going to require validators to lock up 32 Ethereum and then essentially validate transactions like you see on a lot of these other networks like Avalanche, Solana, things like that have the high throughput. And that's going to increase with the surge. So once the merge happens, the surge will actually allow those validators to start transacting a lot faster, and that will increase their transactions per second capability to about 100,000. Right now, it's not even close to that. So it'll be exciting when that happens. Also, this is all theoretical. You have to understand, like, as we've seen with projects, they announce updates and say a lot of things, but it might not be, everything they say it is. However, it is appearing that people are at least trading the news of the merge as we see options contracts line up through September, through that official or announced merge date. With prices upwards of 2.2 thousand or $2,200, with a lot of open interest out to $5,000 actually. So there's a lot of bullish momentum going up to the merge, and then after that, to be honest, it might be a sell the news event. So
Right.
up until then, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. But right now, I believe the merge is the main narrative that's allowing and carrying the crypto market, kind of through this rocky bear phase right now. It's really the only thing providing any sort of bullish momentum and hopium, as we like to call it in the community.
Just to complement what Philip was saying, I think it would be great to show the fear index. I think we can share this and show everyone that we came from extreme fear last month, where the punctuation was 22. Yesterday was much better. We have 42 actually, which is just fear, not extreme fear. And hopefully now, with the CPI and all of the news coming, we should be having better days in the upcoming weeks. So yeah, just wanted to share you guys just how we are performing in the fear index. So
that's a great index to keep track of, because this market is very driven on emotion, and as you will see, people will react on the second something happens. These markets are very reactive, and like Guilherme showed us, within a minute, we had a 2% pump with Bitcoin and a 3% pump with Ethereum. So, and it's only continued from there as more people continue to catch on. But it's things like that, the timing and being in the right place at the right time, recognizing which indicators really move the market and setting yourself up like Guilherme did, that allow you to capture these very profitable moves.
That's absolutely right. And I mean, we saw that last week, so closing out August 7th, that the Bitcoin, not the Bitcoin, Bitcoin closed above their second week, closing above the key bear market support levels. So that was really great. Sigh of relief for some traders. And so I would like to see this wonderful strategy that Guilherme has already showed us on a prior episode, and we are going to recap and see how it has been performing.
Sure, yeah. So let's go again to Vector, and yeah, I think you guys can see already my screen. So yeah, it was so nice because I think it was 2 weeks ago. I don't remember if it was episode 8 or 7 of Around the Block, but I did explain about this specific strategy, which uses two moving averages. In in that case, I was explaining about Ethereum, which is um, the the coin that I have been looking more specifically in the last weeks. And we did have, I think it was like two days after the video came up, we had we call that entry signal in trading. So it says the condition was met, so you can actually start the trade, the operation. Well, for those who didn't watch the video, I'm going to explain again very slowly so everyone can catch how it works. Basically, guys, let me show from the beginning real quick. I'm going to use two moving averages. I click here on vector in any point in the screen in the chart, and I select add indicator. Here I already have the most important indicators, and moving average is right there. First, I'm going to insert the 90-day moving average, and then I'm also going to use the 34-day moving average. Then okay, there we have our two uh, indicators. In order to make it easier to notice the difference between each one, um, the 9-day moving average, I'm going to apply a different color than the 34 one. So I click here, I select the first option, which is moving average properties. As I said in that video before, for this strategy, I recommend using the exponential moving average. There's not so much difference, but I prefer to use this one. Um, and then I'm going to use the color red for the 34-day moving average. Okay. So now we have, you can see that there has been a little bit of change in the position because of the exponential option. And in this one, which is the 9-day moving average, I'm also going to change to exponential one. Okay. Then what I do here is I click again and I go to the strategy, insert paint bar to MV and select. The strategy is when the 9-day moving average crosses above the 34 and it's green, it's a signal for you to actually buy that crypto. In this case, we are talking about Ethereum. As you guys can see here, this is actually my real account. I was a little bit late because the day it crossed the average above the 34 moving average, it was so fast that I couldn't catch from the beginning. So I'm going to zoom a little bit. So as you guys can see, I was just a little bit late, but I still got the trade here. So here there's the signal, and I bought right here the Ethereum. By now, I already have 22% profit in this trade. Um, even I was late. If I was quicker, I would have probably 30% or something like that. But just as a follow up to show you guys that if you study enough, if you really study the market, you can catch these movements and make some profits even in the bear market, because a lot of people are saying that we are still in the bear market. But as I said in the first show that I was here, I don't care whether there is a bear market or a bull market. I just care where the prices are going. So this is what I do. Again, as I said before, study the strategy. Don't just trust me and go and put all of your money in there. Actually do some back tests. You can see that it works most of the time. You can have really good profits using Vector. And yeah, so use the simulator account to get confident and then go to the real account. Because I have some experience, this is actually my real account. I'm showing you guys, no problem. It's 22% profit, but start slow with a little bit amount of money. And if possible, I think it's better to start in the simulator account. You can see here in the description of the video a trial, free trial of Vector, which is this wonderful platform that you can do these trades. So don't forget to check out and do your 15-day free trial with us. All right?
Yeah. So that's right, guys. We have that 15-day free trial for you guys, the Vector Pro plan, where you guys can not only connect with us using the wonderful Connect chat, as you can see on the side there. So if you have any questions, you want to reach out, you can just look up our names, Jasmine, Guilherme, Philip even, and talk to us there. Also, Guilherme, I have a question for you. So with these strategies, how did you come across the strategy, and how do you look at these strategies and say that you test them and then you say, okay, now I'm going to start using this?
Well, I think first you have to study which crypto you want to trade. For example, I really like to trade Bitcoin and Ethereum. So not every strategy is gonna work in every like in every coin, crypto coins, whatever, or even the stock market. So what I do is first I decide which one I want to focus on, I study a lot about that one. My suggestion for people who are starting is go with the basics: Bitcoin, Ethereum. We have also Polkadot, which is getting famous. Anyway, so decide which one you want to trade. Then start studying about the different strategy. For example, moving average is a trend following strategy. So you go with the trend. If it's going up, you buy. It's going down, you actually sell. You go short. Some people prefer to do the opposite. If it's the market is falling, they want to buy because they think it's cheaper. I don't think it's right or wrong. Anyone has their own strategy. So some people like to go against the trend. I don't like doing that. So the first thing that I decided is that I want to be a trend follower. Since I started studying the stock market, not even the crypto market, but from the beginning when I was just in the Brazilian stock market, and then I brought this idea to the crypto market. So first thing is to study and see which strategy you feel confident and comfortable using in your trades, because it's your real money in there. So you have to be comfortable either going with the trend, which is the one that I like, and I suggest people to start using that, or especially for day traders, they usually like to go against the trend because they see that there's a distortion of the price. It goes like up too fast, and they think it's going to go down a bit because of the balance. Um, and Vector also has a very good indicators, for example, Bollinger Bands, to trade against the trend. So that's my advice. Just follow whatever indicator you feel comfortable and confident using in your trades.
Right. And as a disclaimer, before we forget, none of this is any actual financial advice, just what we like to do using the Vector platform. So please use these strategies and indicators at your own discretion. And remember, always trade with the best safety practices and risk management practices.
No, that's a great explanation, Gil. Appreciate you doing that, and especially that last point. The best advice I ever heard in my trading career was the trend is your friend, and
Yes.
it classically, things typically, if you zoom out, if you look at the S&P 500, if you look at Bitcoin, if you look at most assets that are worthwhile, they're up and to the right, particularly long term. So it's important to know, short term. There are people that are trading, but then there's also investors as well who might see that dip as just an opportunity to buy spot and hold that long term as well. So it's just important to be as aware of that. If you happen to just want a DCA and hold it as an asset, I know some people that do that, and instead of selling their Bitcoin, they use it as collateral and are able to get cash against that without having to sell their Bitcoin at the price level they got it at. So, there's multiple ways to, profit from this asset, whether it's using, trading derivatives like is really the most popular way by volume, or just buying spot and using it for other things later down the line. I think that's what the hodler mentality and what the hodler crowd really does. Jasmine, what kind of trader are you? You more of a hodler? You more of a trader?
So funny enough, I used to be a hodler. And in the past recent year, I started doing more, shorts, trading a little bit, like following little trends here and there. And so I'm kind of a mixed trader. I think it depends on the asset. Like for me personally, Bitcoin, which was not actually even the purpose, of Bitcoin. Satoshi was like, spend. I want you to spend this. This is like just digital cash. He never said like this is digital gold. Hold it, or the group, right? So I used to hold it fully and like not do anything with it at all. But now, when I see the opportunity using different strategies and indicators, I'll take smaller profits, but I still do hold a higher amount in that asset, but more like Ethereum. Instead of holding, it's more of like my day-to-day spend, day-to-day trade. I try to take profits when I can, and try to minimize losses as well when we can. So I think I'm a good mix. I'm a mixed trader.
There's this one guy that I really think it's a great trader. I think he's American. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, Ed Seykota. I think he was like engineer from the MIT, and he got in the 90s into trading, and he actually has a song for like following the trade, like don't go against the trade, which against the trend. Just like Philip said, the trend is your friend, and that kind of stuff he says. So everyone who is starting, I always say about Ed Seykota because he's just a nice guy. I think he has two books that talk just about trend following. They are great. So, and the song also is very nice. It's very funny.
We're gonna have to have some type of insert of that song now and take a little
Yeah.
dance break. But we are getting into a little bit more of these heavier topics, including some of the topics that are happening with the US Treasury sanctioning more things in crypto. And so we see that they recently sanctioned Tornado.cash, which is a mixer. So it's a protocol designed to pool funds in an effort to anonymize the origin of any given transaction. So for example, if I were to send one Bitcoin to Guilherme, it would go through maybe different pathways and break up that one Bitcoin so that it can't actually be traced back. And we know that, on any blockchain, it's quite transparent. We can always see like it went from point A to point B, but in some cases, you might want that to be a little bit more private because people can still trace your IP address. If you send them something maybe for a product or service and they're maybe someone that doesn't have great intentions, they know, say it's me, Jasmine, I'm a woman and they search my IP address and now they know where I live, right? They know where I sent my Bitcoin from. They can come do whatever, right? So that's what was prevented with service that Tornado.cash provided, along with other protocols on the blockchain. So the U.S. Treasury did sanction them, claiming that they are allowing and facilitating criminal activities such as money laundering, especially by the Lazarus Group, which are some North Korean groups known to have caused a lot of ruckus in the crypto industry recently. I don't know, do you guys have any thoughts on this? I know that this was kind of a surprise and a lot of people are angry because they believe that, Tornado.cash is not the culprit here. Tornado.cash, it's a note to take that it wasn't created for criminal activity, right? Same way, people do criminal activity with cash, with credit cards, debit cards. It's not like Tornado.cash was created to facilitate this, but there's always good people that use it because they just want more privacy. They want to be able to, do their transactions. And then there's people who want to use it for the bad. So what are your guys' opinions?
This is an incredibly interesting story. I wasn't sure exactly how they would be able to, really enforce an action like this. I think this is the first time OFAC has really taken an action against an actual protocol on the blockchain. And I was wondering, it's a decentralized program that lives on the chain. How does that work? And after doing a little digging, it's interesting. A lot of people don't realize how centralized a lot of the pathways on Ethereum is. For example, Infura is the maker of the MetaMask wallet. And what they essentially did, the MetaMask wallet, for those who don't use warm wallets or hot wallets, is essentially the most popular wallet, self-custody wallet that lets you control your own keys and, actually hold your own coins. But they do have some leeway. And what they did was essentially block their application, so block MetaMask from being able to access Tornado.cash. So this is the first time I've seen the U.S. government, be able to almost bully or threaten these companies into taking such action. For the most part, with MetaMask, you can pretty much do whatever you want. You don't really hear too much about them really restricting access to the blockchain itself, just because it is kind of its own sovereign place. There's really no one that owns it. However, there are these companies behind the access points, and companies like Infura, I believe, is based in the U.S. or yes, Consensus is the parent company, and they own Infura. So the U.S.-based company, obviously, was more or less probably strong-armed into enforcing this. So it's really interesting to see the cooperation between the U.S. government and these quote-unquote decentralized service providers. It's a little scary, and I can see why people would be upset, because it kind of defeats the purpose of the blockchain. It shouldn't be censorable like this. It shouldn't be able to be kind of cut off in this way. So it's a little strange. I've never heard of anything like this. Have you ever heard anything like this, Gil?
No, I think it was very, like you said, a very interesting story, because I didn't hear much here in Brazil about Tornado.cash, but I heard that there were some famous people involved in this, like this like laundry, washing money, I think you say in the US, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like over. Sorry, I think
No,
it
no,
was
you're
over like $7 billion involved in this. So yeah, like it was crazy. I think it's bad for the crypto community, because people who still don't understand the crypto fundamentals, like they tend to think that it's always used for bad stuff, like for scams and so on. So yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, Vitalik Buterin, the co-founder of Ethereum, actually came out and said that he used Tornado Cash to donate to victims of Ukraine, and the intent, as he said, was to protect the financial privacy of the recipients, so that their enemy, the Russian government in this case, would not have full details of the transaction. So you have to kind of weigh, like, what it's really used for. I mean, the US dollar is the most used currency in all crime. And I think people know that it's untraceable. Once it's in someone's hands, there's no ledger that really says where it is. Whereas with blockchain, with a lot of these things, you see people getting caught 4 or 5 years down the line for crimes that they thought they got away with. So it's, a permanent ledger of your crimes as much as it is, you know, uh, an admission. It might as well just be an admission of guilt right there.
right.
So I am a little disappointed that they kind of chose this route and it happened so quickly, because I know the parent company. So the way these things work, these mixers work, is essentially there's a pool of money, right? And you just like pay to put your money in, and then like get a certain percentage back, but like no one knows where it's from, so it's kind of obfuscated. And allegedly, you can still kind of piece things together, and these blockchain analytics companies are very good at doing that, and they have contracts with the U.S. with U.S. federal department. So that is definitely something that's being addressed, but it's something that I think can be used just as much for good as it can for bad. So it's not really something that you should cut off necessarily, as much as maybe just regulate a little bit more. But
Right.
there's other ways too that people launder that aren't quite as obvious. I could get into that later, but it's really a question of how far will regulators go with things like this, because privacy and at least pseudonymity is one of the cornerstones of this decentralized currency that we all wanted to use and decided to use. And while there's different levels of privacy, for the most part, some sort of pseudonymity, was somewhat guaranteed with it. So it's things like this that I could see bothering people a bit. And particularly when you hear, Vitalik Buterin just trying to use it to help people. It's like, okay, where did that story go? It's always, you hear about all the hacks and everything, and like I said, I'm sure they pale in comparison to actual thefts overall
Well,
that involve
yeah,
cash money. So
I think chain analysis, when they did more research into things like this, it was, I think, maybe 8 billion or 8 million, $8 billion in crypto that were, was laundered or hacked in by crypto. And then it was over like 200 million, billion, whatever number in fiat currency. So it's like, it's a fraction of what actually happens. And I mean, we don't see the US Treasury go and sanctioning mattress firms, right? As the conspiracy theory goes, that they're just a front. So we don't see them being sanctioned. And it's kind of like saying, well, just because the parent company is facilitating it, but it's not like they're sitting there going, yes, criminals, use our service to launder money so that we can get in trouble, right? Like, they're not, it's not helpful for them for this to happen, right? So I think that's where it's important for us to like take a step back, look at why the government, why the US Treasury is doing this, and the implications that it puts on other services and other protocols as well. When we are just trying to sometimes be safe, because safety nowadays is a very important thing for a lot of people. I mean, we have the internet, which is a great, great place, but it's also very unsafe at times. The same way that, waking up, getting out of bed is risky, because you might, I don't know, trip, fall, hit your head, and you're gone. It's all about this risk, and we're just trying to be safe in life. So why would they take that away from us? Why would they take, why can't we donate to Ukraine now, let's say through Tornado.cash? Because we're scared for the people's safety. We're scared for our safety. So it's just a good, a thing to think about and kind of say, okay, we get that they're doing bad, or there is bad things happening, but that doesn't mean that they are bad, right? So guys, to end on a not so heavy topic, we're going to close it out today with our NFT news. And so one of the biggest trending topics this week was the NFTiff, which was a collection made by Tiffany & Co. with CryptoPunks, where they sold out of a limited collection of 250 custom jewel-encrusted pendants for holders of CryptoPunks. It sold out, I think, in 2 days or less, which was ridiculous because it was at 30 Ethereum per pendant. And I know, Philip, you mentioned that the floor price dropped on them, right?
Yeah, I mean, NFTs really haven't been looking too good recently. It used to be that, like, even when crypto was going down, NFTs wouldn't, would still be like doing their thing, and it's, still kind of ridiculous pricing, but it's down 20%. You'd expect something like that limited edition to be going up in value. And I know out of the 250 NFTs they had, there's only like 125 or like 130 owners. So it's another like just thing of like the rich getting richer, because the floor price for CryptoPunks is ridiculous. So you already had to have a lot to have one, and now Tiffany's just giving them more stuff. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of these like just super rich like blue chip NFT things. I saw a story where people are demanding that celebrities disclose more of their NFT connections, just so we know, who's actually like passionate about the project and who's just kind of like shilling it, like Allen and Paris Hilton on Tonight Show. Like, that really wasn't a good look in general. Like, it didn't sound excited. It didn't sound like they understood it at all. And like, people will tell you game recognized game. Like, if you don't know what you're talking about in this, people will obviously like call you out and kind of dismiss you. So I think it's good that it's kind of getting under control, this mania of NFTs, and they might focus more on the actual utility of them. But it's really good to see, the tokens, especially the blue chips. I mean, Ethereum is up 40% over the last month. leading up to the merge. At the same time, Bitcoin's up 8%. So, as I said, it's really leading the charge. And I'm excited to see where price is going to go up until the actual merge. I hope they deliver. I believe in the Ethereum Foundation. I believe that they have been putting a lot of time into this, and it's going to not immediately solve everyone's issues. Like the merge is just, like I said, just going from proof of work to proof of stake. So that makes it more environmentally friendly, about 99% more environmentally friendly. So that definitely calms a lot of ESG concerns. And also kind of helps the tokenomics. It makes it a bit more deflationary, because right now, when a transaction is made, it's just really new tokens are issued to the miner that issued that transaction. Whereas with proof of stake, we are able to lock up the supply. And in doing so, that limits the amount of circulating supply. And just by the simple law of economics, less supply floating plus more demand means the price is going to go up. So that's what a lot of people, I believe, are thinking. Plus, you're going to get a yield from being a validator. They're saying, anywhere between, I believe, 5 to 10%, depending on like how you're staking. So it adds that value prospect to it as well. So it gives more people reason for it to stake it rather than buy and sell it. So it keeps that supply a bit more steady and locked up. So I think it's going to be really exciting leading up to that, and hopefully the economy stays together between now and then. Because like I said, we have the month. They have the month off next month. We're not going to have any way to combat inflation if it does kind of get out of hand this month, but we'll see. Hopefully they've taken that into account, and we'll be good going forward, and we can keep these gas prices low too. It's been nice.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't paid for gas in a long time, being fully electric now, but I still pass by, and I remember even a few months ago paying like a ridiculous amount for gas, $80 and up, which is quite high. I used to hear people saying like, oh, I got a full tank of gas for like $20. Like, what car do you have? Like, the tank must be this big. So hopefully we get back down to some better places for the communities as well. And I see a lot more people turning to electric cars. Actually, just a fun fact, Elon Musk announced recently that autopilot will be going out to the general public rather than how it has been, where you have to pay the $12,000 fee, wait for a few months, pass with a driving score. They've been working really hard nonstop for this to happen, so that's really exciting news. And I can't wait to have full autopilot, so waiting for it. And I think that's all from us today. We still have so much more to talk about, so don't forget to come back to our Around the Block series here, where we always have the top trending things going on in the cryptocurrency market and otherwise as well. We come here every week for you guys. So again, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and leave us a great comment. So we'll see you on the next one. Everyone stay safe and have a great day.
All right, everyone. Happy trading. And remember, the trend is your friend.
All right, guys, stay safe. Have a great week. And also, the trend is your friend. Follow the trend always. And stay safe, guys. See you.
To the moon.